What is up, everyone? Welcome to another October daily video where I'm doing 31 days of Halloween drawing. Today I am going to be drawing a creepy doll. Great, that's exactly what this world needs right now. Another Annabelle running around destroying things. This is not what 2021 needs. Alright, let's get started with our creepy doll. This one should be pretty cool and pretty creepy. Alright, so bring that up just a little bit. So I'm going to start off with doing the eyes. A lot of times I like to start off with eyes. And I'm going to hold it there for a second. On Procreate, if you make a circle-like shape, you hold it, it'll make a good ellipse. I'm actually going to do this one by using my finger so there's no pressure sensitivity involved. Alright, that. There we go. Bring that back down a little bit. That's one thing I really like about Procreate, and is one of the big reasons I tend to do a lot more of my cartooning on Procreate these days. Because I can get a really good, clean look with stuff like with this half crescent like lines I'm making right now. I can just hold it and it'll kind of smooth out everything. I really enjoy that with this program compared to like Photoshop and stuff like that, where it's not always as clean. Let's see. Start that like this. There we go. Now let's make a second layer. This is going to be where the head is, and I'll show you why I'm doing a second layer in just a moment here, if you haven't watched any of my other videos this month. But if you have, you probably know what I'm going to do here in a second with this second layer. So what I can do, I can go up to this eye, and I can erase where it overlapped, and I get a nice clean look there. I'll do the same thing over here. This hair goes all the way down, so let's try to do this in single motion. That's one tip that I will give you when you're working on doing illustrations in general. It doesn't have to be just illustrations digitally. Try using full motion of your hand as often as you can. You get a little better look than always kind of doing these little tiny strokes with your hand, so, or with your wrist. I did the sketch beforehand to try and save a little bit of time, trying to make these videos not be 30 to 40 minutes long, if I can help it. So I want to try to have these as live as I can so I can kind of talk about what I'm doing a bit more, give you guys tips when I'm working on this stuff. So trying to move things along. If you want to get your hands on the sketches as a downloadable file, if you join my Patreon, you can get those on there. So that's kind of cool. You can also get my brush pack of pens that I'm using actually right now to create this illustration and pretty much any illustration that I make on my iPad. So that is, you get all that for just doing the $1 membership on Patreon. I think I might be frozen a little bit here. Give it a second. But if you get the $5 one, you actually get the full 5,000 by 5,000 pixel drawings of everything I'm doing right now and this whole month. In the future, anything I do, you get the full high-res versions for them as well over there for a download. So if you want to check that out, I'm going to leave a link for it down in the description. Any and all support is extremely appreciated, and can't thank all of you guys enough who are here, even just watching these videos. It means a lot to me. Erase the belt where it overlaps. That way you have a consistent line and everything meets up visually on all the line breaks. Like I said, that's a nice little tip to have. I didn't used to do that for the longest time. I started doing it a couple years ago, and it saves me a lot of time and a lot of headache. You might notice a lot of times when I'm working, I kind of haphazardly go around the image instead of just working in one spot at all times. It's just something I do. It's not like it's best practice or anything like that. It's actually probably slows me down a bit. I constantly move around and then I forget to finish spots and then I go back and grab my pen. So it's probably better to just do it all at once, but that's not how I do it, so sorry for any coughing or stuffiness that is coming across on the capture. I am getting over a cold right now, but I'm doing my best to try and get these drawings out for you guys, because I made a promise to myself and to all of you guys that you would get 31 of these videos this month. So I'm doing my best to fight through this cold and get all this stuff going for you guys. And let's get these teeth. I'm gonna try to do these in one motion. And I'm doing the same thing that I've been doing, where I got this on a separate layer from where the mouth was originally drawn on. So any areas that I accidentally go out, I can just erase that. Alright, I combine those now. I'm not following my sketch to a T in some areas. Even though the sketch is a refined version of my original sketch, at the end of the day, it's still a sketch, and when you're doing your final piece, sometimes going with your gut and just going away from the look that you had on your sketch can sometimes bring a lot of life to an image. So the 2nd gen iPad Pro. If you watch some of my other videos, I accidentally said 3rd gen for the first like 8 videos. I don't know why. I have never owned a 3rd gen iPad Pro, but for some reason I wanted to convince myself that I did. Sometimes with this 3rd gen, or the 2nd gen, I did it again. Okay, sometimes with this 2nd gen iPad Pro, I do get some freezes on Procreate. It's kind of one of the downfalls of having this iPad, but it does get the job done very well. I use this for any of my professional cartooning, so just keep that in mind, though. Even though it has its limitations sometimes, it still gets the job done well enough. I'm in need of some more Dayquil or something, because I am starting to really feel the stuffiness coming back. Time to, oh, my voice is cracking. Time to do our colors. We're gonna turn this to reference by tapping on that. We're gonna make a new layer underneath it. And let's go for a kind of washed out pink color for the dress. I can go up here and hit recolor. Select where you want that to start, and then you can just kind of tap in your colors. Let's find a slightly darker version of it. And we're going to drop that in, recolor, drag it over to where we want it to start, and then we can just start tapping in. Dingy-ish white color, maybe go into the yellow to give it a little bit more of a vintage look. It's supposed to be kind of like a, oh gosh, like an Annabelle-ish kind of character, a little overly creepy. It's supposed to be like an older doll, so it's been around for a long time. Let's do this bow up here, the same color as the dress. good color for that. Put the spot to start and just start tapping that in. Save some time. I've always had issues with recolor till I started doing all these videos, and I really kind of figured out how to use it properly. So now I am using it a lot more than I did when I first started doing these videos. So I'm learning stuff too. A lot creepier than I actually expected it to be. So, alright. So we got that part done. Alright, I think I'm going to go in and add some extra lines at this point. A lot of times I do it earlier, or later. I think I'm going to do it right now. And I'm just going to start going in, and I'm actually going to turn this off for a second, because I actually put some stitch lines on my sketch layer that I want to follow. Just really give this the look of a creepy, old, handmade doll. I think this just adds a little extra detail to this drawing. I might as well go in and go my standard liner. I'm going to make these lines here. Doing the same thing that I did before with all this being on its own layer, so I can just go in and erase all of this. Alright, so let's turn that color back on and combine that. And I think we're ready for some shadows. So we're going to add a new layer above the color layer. We're going to go to clipping mask, so when I make lines, the colors don't leave the borders. And let's go to filler brush. I think I'm going to do like a really creepy bottom shadow on this one. Alright, I'm just blocking out these big sections of light. So I got the main blocked out areas, and I can go and refine that in a minute. We're going to go down and drop this shadow till we get a shadow that we like. I like that one. Let's go to fine liner so we can make some more refined lines. We'll turn the eraser to fine liner as well. Like I said, the fine liner one is like a smoothed out brush, so it kind of makes it so when I'm doing anything like this, I get this really smooth line here. It's a little trickier of a light source that I'm doing, but I think it'll be well worth it in the end. Just gotta really think about it a bit more of what's going to be in shadow compared to what you would normally do. So normally you don't light a figure from the bottom. Select all of this with my select tool with the freehand on, and then just scrub that out. Alright, so I'm actually going to take out this whole bottom section. Since it's coming, the light's coming down from the bottom, I actually kind of want to just make that whole bottom area a lot more lit up than I originally intended. Actually doing a shadow like this is actually kind of testing my abilities more. I normally don't shadow things from the bottom. I'm normally from the top or left or right. So this is actually kind of cool, trying to think about really where I'm going to be placing these shadows. Unfortunately, it's probably going to make this video twice as long. But there'll probably be quite a bit of fast forwarding here because I'm really just trying to figure stuff out. So this whole middle section, though, I did completely fill in with shadow, and then I'm going to erase what I don't want. So let's go back to eraser. Now down here, I am just going to put pretty minimal shadowing. Just some areas that might cast a little bit of shadow from wherever this light is exactly. That's, I don't know, she's being summoned or something like that. But the light is coming from underneath her, so some of this will be still in shadow though. Some of these parts that are casting slight shadow. Alright, we're going to do the same thing over here. Grab the selection tool, freehand. And we're just going to fill that in. Might just use the filler brush here. Rim light up here. And that's just to give it a little sense that some light is breaking through on that backside there. Alright, so now we're going to go in. I don't even know if I'm going to add highlights or not. Let's see, though, how it looks in the end. I'm going to add another layer. Clipping mask. And this is going to go into the red. Pinkish color. And we'll do a Gaussian blur. Another layer. Clipping mask. This is actually going to go underneath. Bring that size up a little bit. And Gaussian blur. Now what I can do, instead of doing highlights, I think I might go in and, okay, so clipping mask. Go to this pink red color. Alright, let's go to Gaussian blur. Okay, so I see some areas that need it just a little stronger. This is really gonna bring up that creep factor quite a bit on this piece. Alright, go to Gaussian blur. Try that again. Opacity down a little bit. There we go. Instead of doing a shadow underneath, we're going to this little, so we go to airbrush. Not what I wanted. And go to Gaussian blur, layer. And one more layer in the back. Do this little effect here. And Gaussian blur. Alright, so there it is, the finished, creepy, scary doll. I absolutely love this one. This one is really, really creepy, but it's so awesome. But remember, this is only one of 31 videos this month. If you haven't seen the other ones, make sure you go check them out. But remember, like always, keep drawing, and until next time, bye!